Greetings, this is John Roger Berry. Today I'll read an adaptation of a blog post I previously published on my website, Explorations in Contemporary Spirituality, called Attainment or Unfoldment. But first, let's invoke spiritual blessings, that all beings may be filled with divine love, light, peace, and joy. Okay, our reading today, Attainment or Unfoldment. And so the question is raised. When undertaking spiritual pursuits, are we attaining something we don't have, or are we unfolding something we already possess? Well, that depends. From the perspective of one's ego, we attain enlightenment, which we now lack. We strive with all our might to realize our goal. We work to subjugate our at times unruly ego while making diligent strides to achieve our objective. But from another perspective, our innermost essence, our soul, our spiritual self, or if Buddhist, our core is considered emptiness, is always present, always luminous, but simply concealed, much in the same way that clouds cover the sun. In this sense, spiritual progress consists of unfolding this essence by figuratively removing the clouds. So, which perspective is correct? In reality, both are equally valid. Here's why. We begin our spiritual journey with our ego, and we end it without our ego. As we progress along the continuum of enlightenment, our ego wanes as our spiritual essence increases. And so there is a simultaneous movement. First, the ego must do all it can to subdue its own existence, because enhancing one's ego is inimical to spiritual progress. And second, as the ego is displaced by virtue of our diligent pursuit of the spiritual path, this very act opens up the portal that facilitates the unfoldment of our spiritual essence. From one perspective, there was never a time when we weren't enlightened. But we presently aren't aware of our inherent state of enlightenment because all the objects in our mind obscure this perception. Through our spiritual practices, we remedy this deficiency. We remove all the layers that obscure our perception of our own intrinsic enlightened state. But it is not our ego that becomes enlightened. Our ego vanishes during the course of our spiritual strivings. What's left is the numinous experience itself, God, the ultimate reality, pure consciousness, minus our ego. The light in our spiritual home is then fully illumined, while its former resident has gone on permanent vacation. We'll be back. Until next time, be well, keep up your spiritual practices, and always radiate joy.